Boo bam. Here we are. We're live
Fight
doing it.
conversations.
Fight conversations, guys. It's happening. It's legit. It's going down on the live stream. We're making it happen. I'm your boy Trez.
Likes Las Vegas over here.
And yeah, here we are. I'm in the old high desert on this deal. Looks like Lex is in the comfort of his home. Sitting out there. 2 a.m. Pacific time.
I'm excited because I think that John Jones is going to be comfortable in his home, which has been the Octagon for many years now. This is what his 15th title defense. 15 fights ago, he got the title from Ryan Bader, who's now a double champ in Bellator. So, I mean, John Jones his last 15 fights has been impressive. This is fight number 16, the 15th as a champion. Dominick Reyes. I just don't think that he has seen anything like this before. A guy like John Jones who's so high IQ, who's going to pick apart his game and try to play the chess game with him. Fighting Weidman is not going to prepare him for John Jones.
No, I fully agree, man. I don't there's I look, he could have, Reyes can have the speed, you know, he can have the striking ability and stuff like that. But watching it, they're great strikes. They're very predictable in a sense of for a guy like a skilled fighter of the likes of John Jones. I don't want to say can see it coming, but they know the direction from where it's coming. They know, like, um, they know there's nothing sneaking up on them. They're going to be prepared to take a shot. In a sense, you're not going to catch them off guard. Maybe the speed, but I'm not. I just don't see. Look at John Jones, man. He's always, and I'm a big critic of the guy as far as like with the drugs and all that shit, the PED, and then all that other outside bullshit, extracurriculars. But his fight IQ, his awareness, his athleticism, along with being a tough as nails fighter. He's always trying to pick, chip, grind, always doing something. That there's always an angle. He's always doing something when he's coming to, on his way in. He's not just making his way in, he's hitting you with an up elbow. You know what I mean? Like he's cracking those tight elbows where guys are just trying to get a clinch, and he's just doing, hitting those foot stomps and stuff like that. Just chipping, picking death by 1,000 cuts. And that stuff, once you inflict like a pain on somebody, you inflict like just enough to cause them like discomfort to where they grimace, they flinch, they just do something. They want to avoid that again. That's another thing you can just keep working on to get them off of their stuff. Jones does that. Reyes doesn't do that. Reyes hasn't seen that. Reyes hasn't been in with somebody that's, he's fought dudes who fought like straight up. John Jones, the dude's slick, he's sly, he's cunning, and on top of all that, man, he's got a killer instinct. But Bruce Lee said it best. He goes, I'm not worried about the guy that can do it, it's got 1,000 punches. I'm worried about the guy that's practiced the same punch 10,000 times, and that's Reyes.
Well, what's interesting about John Jones that I was thinking about earlier was I was thinking about one of my other favorite fighters in the UFC, Daniel Cormier, and how, as good as Cormier was, it's like, John Jones had him so frustrated the dude was ready to retire. And yeah, PEDs could have played a factor or not, but I don't think
Both times, right? Both times those come up.
I
That
don't know.
comes
I
up
don't
with
know
it.
how much that had to do with John Jones being able to perfectly time and set up those kicks, and to be able to just what he was able to do to Cormier. I think showed how great John Jones is, because Cormier is,
It gives you it will it
an elite fighter.
there's a what do you call it? Almost there's a psychological effect. There's a big psychological effect in in a lot of things with guys, performers. Um, you know, the placebo effect in a sense. But look at like Margarito in boxing. Remember it, um his fight with Cotto, and other guys he was fighting with. He was just walking through their punches, and you're like, he just kind of lived up to the whole Mexican bravado, tough guy. I'll, you know, it's a 12-round fight. I'll take you to the deep end and then drown you, kind of deal. He'll take two to get his one. Then he gets busted with those loaded gloves, and then he gets annihilated. All right, like his punches don't have the same effect. His confidence isn't there, dude. Other than that, other than he's strong.
Who was
He
that
can
fight
other
against?
than he can take a shot. That was against Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley is like the boxing establishment was like, well, we're not going to ruin this fight. We're going to let it happen. We're going to do an investigation afterwards. But they're like, yo, dog, fucking unleash the hounds on him. And he did. I mean, fucking Margarito, it was that fight, dude. I mean, that was a drubbing, bro. That was a straight, just an absolute mauling. Um, up until that to the last punch. But anyways, what I'm getting at on this little dealy is um when you have that little bit of confidence, man, you know, or when it's gone, it's a different thing. Margarito, he was tough, but his punches didn't have the same, and you just knew it wasn't.
Do you
And
really think, though? Here's the question, right? Do you really think that John Jones has used some substances that really enhanced him that much? You think it's like a Vitor Belfort type of a deal where he's just that different? It's using the sauce that much? Because I don't really see it like that. I don't think that he was, you know,
yeah, I do in a sense, because you can train harder, recover faster, put your body through a lot more stress than you could without it. And so then what ends up happening when you do end up in a fight, or when you've cycled out, you have that threshold of you know your levels have been raised. You know what I mean? Like your muscle memory, your endurance level, your wind and stuff like that. Well, it carries. You know, um, I'll be the first to say it. I think guys should be able to juice. I just don't think they should be able. You know, I don't think they should be able to juice in fight preparation and obviously during a fight. But I think
I think
I
you should
think
be able to have both. I think, why not have a juiced grouping,
um
have a
no
non-clean grouping, and
no I just think
when you're in, that's what you do.
I think during during fight training, uh, in preparation for a fight, there might be some uh, limitation to that, as
You
far as
have to set a limit on it, regardless. Even if you allowed people to do it, you'd have to limit it. Otherwise, you'd have like dudes trying to be like Bane, straight juicing themselves like during the
Well, there's things that I'm talking about,
match.
stuff I'm talking about that would be like more for recovery. You know what I mean? More for um, that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, no, I don't think the guys should be able to juice in preparation for the fight and stuff, or in a camp, and obviously not during a fight. But I do think they should be able to take some stuff to help their bodies heal, recover. And then if they wanted to train like they were fighting on their off time, and boost, like I said, you can enhance your thresholds, your gains and stuff like that. Um, yeah, man. Then you come in, you're testing clean, you're pissing clean, you pass the test. But I mean, that's what guys are pretty much doing anyways. Everybody's fucking juicing. There's just a few dudes that are just those insane fitness nuts, and they're not.
Cyborg.
What about it?
Think she was juicing?
Yeah, bro. Come on. Come on, man. Now, here's one of the things. I know Brazilian chicks and like Latin chicks and stuff like that. They have like some of them. They'll have like a more gravelly, raspier voice. They'll have, you know what I mean. They'll have their, they'll have the thing that they do that they say that. But ultimately, man, voice like that shit. When we was watching that old girl, what was it? That boxing on the zone.
Oh yeah. She ended up being a dude.
No, she wasn't a dude. She just lost a lot of weight. I think she's a dude. It looks like a dude, but she looked like Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, they stripped her. I guess she failed her drug test or something like that. But everybody's juicing, bro. Everybody's juicing. Everybody's doing something. They should. There's just. It should be regulated. The fact that these guys, and I know Rogan's talked about it, but these dudes put their bodies through so much freaking stress. It's unbelievable, man. They should be able to juice it to a certain extent. But no, do I think? Yeah, man. If it's done right, if you're able to push that sled faster, harder, if you're able to train harder in your training, it's gonna show in your fight, man.
Yeah.
Skill versus skill. The only thing that's gonna beat that is like timing. And usually timing is on your side a little bit more when you got an edge.
Oh, absolutely.
But
the question is,
what?
The question is, do you think that John Jones showed that a big difference in terms of his fights, his last 15 fights? You think there was a drop off from one fight to the other? You think that he showed that he needs whatever he's on? I mean, do you think there's some case to be made that?
Well, anytime you see him in any kind of competitive fight, you're like, oh, dude, he's off the juice. You know what I mean? But it's all a mental game. You played your competition, that kind of thing. But yeah, I couldn't hear you on that one. It was digitized on me. What?
The fight with Cormier, his last one. Did you feel that he was juiced for that? The one that he got?
I did think he was juiced. Yeah. Yeah, no. I think when it comes to Cormier, because Cormier is known to have like that really good endurance, like amazing, wrestler's endurance, go nonstop.
So you thought he juiced? Did he get caught juicing the first fight with Cormier, or was it the second fight?
I thought it was both, to be honest with you.
The first one, I wouldn't be surprised because, yeah, I mean, that was the one where Cormier didn't take him down once, and he took down Cormier several times. That was that one.
Yeah, my short-term memory's like kind of shot
One
with
that
this.
I remember most about being just, saying to myself, this doesn't look right. This feels like there's juice involved was when Brock Lesnar fought against Mark Hunt. And he just ragdolled Mark Hunt all around the octagon. And I thought, I thought Mark Hunt would have more of a fight in him. And then it came out afterwards that Lesnar was on the juice and Mark Hunt was super pissed about the whole deal. I got on him extra heavy for his next fight, and he fucking, whoever it was, he knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, I remember that, and then I also remember, that's where Brock. That's the thing, man. Brock Lesnar is like John Jones, dude. They'll fucking just cover it up, bro.
Yeah.
They'll take care of that cash cow, man. They'll take care of that, you know. They're doing the same thing in WWE, just to keep him there, dude. They let him have like the loosest schedule and all that shit, man. Like it's crazy, I'm all about it. Hey, man, get that money.
WWE is so much crazier now, bro. Oh my god.
Say what?
Those guys thought they were busy before. Now with social media, those guys are fucking literally living those characters. It's crazy.
Oh, what when you do WWE, when you do wrestling or what?
Yo, the whole dynamic has changed so much with social media now. That was part of wrestling that just didn't exist when we were growing up. Like guys.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine Macho Man having like an Instagram or a Twitter, bro? Like back in the day, dude, with like the epic meltdowns. Could you imagine a Macho Man? Like if he like gave a shit enough to like tweet,
recording, like
I mean, look at the Iron Sheik.
You'd have to be doing it.
Oh yeah, you'd have to. It'd be epic, man. It'd be epic. Like everything, like he'd have to do Instagram. I couldn't imagine him just doing tweets. Like you'd have to do like video clips, like the Macho Boy. Oh yeah.
Oh no, he'd have to.
Getting me a Tommy burger. Yeah.
He would be all the way modern, doing fucking stories of himself, like doing his daily tasks, like beating dudes up, like picking up his laundry, fucking choking somebody out, like.
Well, that was the thing is like Macho Man. It wasn't like it wasn't like a gimmick. Like that was like his like real deal. There was like I remember watching this interview after Mean Gene Okerlund died, and he was talking about him and Macho because he said that they were like a dynamic duo. It was like always gold when they were cutting promos and doing the interviews and stuff. But Macho Man was like, yo, he's like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this, Gene, and he's like, how do you handle all this stuff? Everywhere I go, people, they're all, they come up to me and they want pictures and, I just want to.
You thought it was bad then. Imagine now that everywhere he goes, they'd be like recording him and fucking with him, trying to get him
reacted. Me and Gene goes, well, you're kind of lit up like a 4th of July fire hydrant everywhere you go. You got the neon hat and you got the tassels on the long, on the streamer. Like the dude walked around as Macho. He wasn't Randy Savage. He was Macho Man everywhere he went, dude. He wore the leather. He wore the bandanas. He wore the, all.
That's how it is today, man. You gotta like be that character.
Well, it's called kayfabe. That's what it is, man. That's the true art, man. Kayfabe is that's like respectable shit. It was funny too. Was doing stand up. I actually fooled like all these professional wrestlers when I was doing my British accent. I did my whole set, and then at the end of the set, I dropped the accent. And Yeah, man, I'd fooled I'd fooled these guys. They're like, they're 20, damn near 30-year veteran, vet fucking wrestlers and shit, dude. And they were pissed that a comedian fucking got one over on them because they're supposed to, you know, they're supposed to figure those shits out. They're supposed to know work. Yeah, I fucking worked the dudes. That was a good one. That's a fucking feather in my cap, baby.
Nice. What you got sipping on right there?
A little Johnny Black, a little Johnny Walker Black, man. It's nice and smooth. This guy, hey, dude, I
Me-
gotta. I was gonna say I gotta be getting to bed, so that's gonna be getting me going. I took a nap earlier, so that's why I'm. But
What do you do? One cube, or you take it neat?
oh no, that's a straight. I've had that bottle for so long. That thing's just like sipping syrup right now. It's just like candy.
Oh shit! All the fucking water is evaporating out of it, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. I like, it seems like it doesn't have that bite that it used to have, which is good. I enjoy that. But yeah, man. So yeah,
It's gonna be some good fights, man. At the end of the day, I was thinking
it,
about this because I was
you,
arguing some sports with a friend of mine. Some basketball, and the best part about fight conversations is like, in sports you could argue who the best coach is, who the best player is, all that shit. You could argue all that shit, and you never have an answer, and it's just an unending argument. But you could argue John Jones and Dominick Reyes, and we're gonna find out Saturday night one way or the other
yeah,
what it is, and that's the beautiful part about it. We get the closure of getting to see an outcome.
I just think there's too many facets to John Jones' game. Um, no, and he's proven no matter how long he's out. And I just think that Reyes, eh, you know, hasn't seen hasn't uh, hasn't seen this level of opponent. Hasn't seen somebody with this. Um, how do you say?
Fight IQ.
Yeah, definitely fight IQ, but this
Art,
level of this arsenal. He's just got. What's that?
he's got the arsenal of weaponry that he hasn't seen before. A guy that has the unlimited, pack of tools to use. So I think John Jones is gonna
He's
gonna
gonna get he's
bad.
gonna get hit with a lot of unpredictable stuff that he's not prepared, and it's just gonna have him like afraid to do some shit. Like it's gonna have him like he doesn't know which way it's coming.
Well, I saw
Uh,
an interview where they were discussing, somebody was talking about John Jones's elbows from the clinch, how he likes to like try to wrist control you and then come with an elbow over the top. And they were asking Reyes what he would do, and he was showing how he would go with an inside elbow, and basically how his strategy is to, you know, in essence, beat John Jones to the punch, try to be aggressive enough that, when it's in an exchange of a melee, he has some opportunity to land by being aggressive and trying to land first. So could that work? I mean, obviously that's how these things, how they go down. And when everything is in motion, that's when he has his most possibility. That's when he's also in danger. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, when he actually, gets touched. Does he stick with his game plan? Does he falter? And how that works? Because I think Khabib is one of those guys where you really see him break opponents where I think the whole, like, we talked about this in a previous fight conversation video, how he hugs you with his legs like a fucking bear. I think
Mhm.
some guys, when he's got those legs on him and he's squeezing on him, like, there's just like disbelief. Like, even Connor, when Connor did that, like that spinning in the middle of the ring trying to get Khabib off him, he just couldn't shake him. Like, it's just one of those things where certain guys, they throw something at you, they surprise you with something that you weren't ready for. And I think that Dominick Reyes is going to be in a situation like that where he's getting shots, kicks coming at him and strikes that he's just not able to defend. And I think he gets out of there early. I still feel, for some reason, my gut's telling me third round stoppage from an elbow strike. For some reason, that's what I'm feeling. So
I'm still gonna go with my instinctual thought would be something within the first round. The fight's gonna end in the first round with John Jones trying to do something exciting, and
yeah,
I
McGregor.
was that.
You said you think he's going to try to emulate McGregor's exciting early finish.
Yeah, I think an early destruction, something that's noteworthy, unless it's, uh, I just think first round's going to be a target. Yeah, I think that's going to
I
be
don't
his.
think that because I feel like John Jones, part of his whole deal is that, he is one of those guys that he's all about the win. So he is going to give you nothing. So he's definitely not going to leave himself open by overextending on any shots. He's definitely not going to go
Oh
for.
yeah, but he's not going to. He's also he's not like a uh, uh, like he's not like of a Roy Jones. I mean, not a Roy Jones, of a Mayweather style of trying to get the W. Like he'll go for the kill. He'll go for the kill, and he'll actually initiate. He'll put out feelers where Floyd, just keeps baiting you, and if you don't, then you're in a really standoffish kind of fight, very tactical. I think John Jones is gonna. I think he's gonna bring a little razzle dazzle. I think that's what's
What
happening.
was it? Out of John Jones's last 15 fights, I think the majority of them were decision.
Yeah, hey, if it goes, yeah, he's not a knockout artist by any means, but what I'm getting at is like there's no coasting. He doesn't carry his fighters, like, you know what I mean? Like he's not carrying anybody.
Get you out of there.
Mayweather and McGregor was a perfect case of somebody carrying. Like Pacquiao wouldn't carry McGregor. He'd fucking buzzsaw him as fast as he could. You know what I mean? Mayweather's Mayweather's not. Mayweather didn't throw a punch for like 3 rounds. And come on.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was a damn of a fight. So,
But you know what I'm getting at though, man. Like there's a lot of fights, man. Dude, what was it? It was like Mayweather Baldomir. People we left. People were walking out of that place.
like
Um
uncut gems, people walking.
like even like Mayweather Judah. Like after like the fourth round, that fight was just buh. I mean, there was a bunch of them.
Mayweather, I would say that unless you're betting on Mayweather to go the distance or to win by decision, his fights are not what most boxing fans are looking for. It's just you're not getting the action that you want. And unless you're gambling for that as the outcome, then you're not enjoying it. And a lot of people hate Mayweather for that.
I just want to see somebody can crack the crack the egg, you know. Although Jose Luis Castillo did it twice and got jobbed, but I enjoy watching Mayweather though, dude. That guy's fucking
Oh man,
that dude's
once I switched over, I had a friend out here, a veteran boxing gambler. He told me, he was like, you know, don't be mad that Mayweather didn't get the knockout. Learn from it. Bet the decision, bet the over, and next time around, when he does what he does every time, you'll be cashing in, and it's a different type of enjoyment sweating it with the over or going to decision, because it's like you're trying to fade all of these shots now instead of landing them. It's a different type of sweat, different type of watch. Just similar to if you're watching a football game and you're betting over or under. It's like you're rooting for less action. You're rooting for Mayweather to be.
you're a stinker. You're like, go
You're,
12.
you're rooting for a boring, air quote, boring fight. That's what you're rooting for. You want Mayweather to fucking just be defensive and land his little 1-2 that does no damage but racks up points, and you just like knocking coins out of somebody's head in a fucking Super Mario or something. Like, that's what you're doing with Mayweather. But at the end of the day, if you're not betting on him to do that, it's not bringing the excitement of like a Wilder knocking somebody out, or obviously like a Mike Tyson knocking somebody out, which Mike Tyson is like synonymous with a certain era of people as like the type of boxing you want to see. And Mayweather is just never going to do that, with the exception of Victor, what's his name? Victor Cruz. That was
or Victor Ortiz.
Victor Ortiz.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
No, that was a fucking dive, dude. I'll say it. I said it.
That was a sham in so many ways, and that was.
Oh no, man! I saw it immediate. I saw it immediately when it happened. But you see on the replays, man, it's like you could see Cortez like purposely is like in position so Floyd could see him to where he make sure he's not looking. Floyd, when him and
that was a weird moment, right?
When him and old boy come and do the hug, Floyd like looks over and see Cortez isn't there. Then immediately he throws that left hook, and then the Cortez still is acting like he doesn't see it. He's just like just still staring, and then fucking he pipes him with that fucking right hand and sends him down. And then when he goes down, then Cortez like gives this like look like, oh, and then he starts counting. It was like, bro, you didn't even know action. You didn't even call the action. You didn't even say fight or anything like that. And now you're counting. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Mayweather has enough power, even with an open shot, to knock this guy out. Is that what you're questioning?
No, I'm saying the fight was like a dive.
See, here's the thing, right? When Ortiz was trying to throw his barrage at Mayweather, and Mayweather is basically dodging everything he's throwing, just defensive clinic style.
Well, what was fucked up is he actually had Mayweather hurt, dude. And actually in that fight, he had been doing way better than anybody at that point, which was like really weird and really frustrating to see. But he had done some things. He had hit Mayweather with his left hook quite a few times, but he had done some things that I had said people should do, and no one does, is make Mayweather come forward. Shane Mosley did it for a couple rounds and caught Mayweather with two beautiful right hands, almost knocked him out. And after that second time, Mayweather made everybody else come forward. But the times when Mayweather has like been made to come forward by dropping back, his Mayweather's forward jab versus like you coming at him or being within his range, like it's a real reaching jab. I mean, it's not like it's the weaker of his, and he's been countered with it a bunch in his career,
It just seemed like to me that what happened in that moment was that, fight instinct for Ortiz was not as a boxer, but just as, a street fight where he went from, went through all his weapons and what was available he went with. And it just happened to be a headbutt. That was what was open that he could land, right? As everything else missed, as everything else he was throwing against the ropes was missing, what was available to land was a headbutt. So he threw it. And
Yeah, but he didn't even like. Yeah, it was.
he got like so frustrated in the moment that he couldn't land on this dude that he just landed what he could land and then like snap back into the fact that like, yo, we're not in the street. I can't headbutt you. He was confused. He didn't know
Up and up until
it was
up
weird.
until up until that moment, he was landing. One of the things, um, though, and you'd have to look, and I'm pretty sure, uh, you know,
I'm talking
what,
that sequence though.
what?
I'm talking about just that sequence that led to the headbutt. I feel like
Well, here's one of the things though. Here's one of the things. Mayweather and people don't know it, but dude is a very very dirty fighter, right? A lot of elbows, a lot of low blows, a lot of forearm shivs. The dude, as far as like when it comes to Sweet Pea would do it, but Sweet Pea would Pernell Whitaker would actually be moving, but Mayweather will bend completely over and has also turned his back. It's called taking away the target, and it's actually quite illegal.
he did that a lot against McGregor.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, he would. He would. You bend down. If you bend down, you have to keep your. You have to keep. You have to keep like an element, a certain area. Like you have to keep like scoring areas available, right? Or you got to be moving. Well, Mayweather would like bend completely over, and it's like the only thing you're giving him is to hit you in the back of the head. You know, he would get away with that a lot in boxing. No one's ever admonished him or taken a point from him. Tons of forearms. I mean, you just watch Mayweather with his elbows and forearms. It's unbelievable how much he gets away with that shit. And again, more power to him. If you're in a fight, you're in a fight. But a lot of people think just because he's a slick fighter and a defensive fighter that he's not dirty. He is dirtier than the motherfucker, man. No rabbit punches and no intentional low blows, but he has no problem with letting them go south. He has no problem with punching you on the thigh, but he wouldn't, he doesn't use his head, he doesn't do stuff like that, but he's got his little toolbox, that he uses, that he gets a pass on. It's always got a pass on.
Like I said, man, earlier on I was anti Mayweather and I made the switch and I was happy ever since. So with the exception of that, or
I was Pretty Boy Floyd all day, man. I've always, especially Pretty Boy, was a fucking straight up killer. Money Mayweather, he was a businessman.
Yeah, I think I looked at it less like,
I admire both, but Pretty Boy Floyd, that dude was a straight murderer. I mean, went in there and just shot up the fucking place, man. Beautiful.
It became an investment, you're making money on this dude twice a year, like guaranteed. That's how it was. Like Mayweather was just a cash cow for.
Well, a lot of people, a lot of things like with Mayweather's criticism too, is the dude's broken his hand so many times, so I could see like in a fight, like at a certain point, you're just like, bro, I'm going to keep licking this dude. I'm going to break my hand if I hit him any harder. You know what I mean? Like, dude's not going anywhere. So I might as well just fucking.
That bare knuckle boxing.
What's that?
That's the trouble with the bare knuckle boxing.
Well,
you can break your hands easy. I mean, I was watching Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov.
Yeah.
and that was interesting. Got me into watching the bare knuckle boxing a little bit, and
My my problem with those guys is they fight, and I've seen it at other stuff like that.
oh, got glass hands, so
Well, they fight like they got gloves on, you know, um, and one of the things is they tape their hands up. They shouldn't be taping shit up. First of all, um, maybe maybe around the wrists to reinforce the wrists, but they shouldn't have any tape on their fucking hands at all. They should be able to use open hand strikes, palm strikes, because that was used in bare knuckle boxing. Um, Backhands, uh, you know, uh, elbows. But these guys are throwing like, and that's just, it's funny to say in fighting, that's just dangerous. But it's dangerous in the sense that you can just completely toast a weapon landing on a scoring spot. You know what I mean? You can completely blow out your wrist. You can do, there's a lot that can go on, but there's certain ways, there's certain strikes and stuff like that, certain style of fighting that you do in bare knuckle boxing that is equally, if not more damaging to your opponent, but preserves, and lessens the risk of damage to yourself. you know. But these guys are just throwing this. That was one of the things is people think in boxing, the gloves and the hand wraps were about protecting the other fighter, the opponents. That's not the case at all. As they were tired of these guys hurting and breaking their hands because they're trying to throw so hard, so they started wrapping them. Because of the betting is ruining a lot of the betting and shit. So they started wrapping the hands and they started putting it. It had nothing to do with these dudes with their faces and their fucking health at all. It had everything to do. And then that's when
gotta find a way to conceal a piece of fucking metal in there.
well,
Find a way to
but the thing is that's when punches change. You know what I mean? That's when you get haymakers. That's when you get like these, that's when you get the kind of hooks we have now. Hooks we had before are now considered swings. You know, um,
elaborate on that.
um, you know how the Russians they like to throw those punches like they come over the top. You know what I mean? Like when they, it's like uh okay, you see how like my arms like hooked, like we would throw a hook, like we'd be in there, and then we'd like turn and throw a hook. The Russians like to come over the top with like a punches. Which is real effective. Well, um, uh, a hook, for us is to like rip across or to like dig in. A hook back in the day would be your arm would like be in the same like in that 90-degree position, but it would come like over the top like a punch like that. So it was a less mechanic. It wasn't an extending punch or anything, or it wasn't like your whole body torque. It was kind of like in the mechanics of you moving out of the like dipping out of the way and throwing it right over the top. But
Or from the shoulder.
yeah, so that would be the hook, and then that what turns into, which is that punch is still there, and today it turns into now cranking one, ripping from the side, that kind of deal. Um, and then like a swing today would be those kind of more extended looping hooks. Those when you throw them from out, or a shovel hook, but a shovel hook is still considered a shovel hook, or a check hook. That's what like Mayweather, you'd come in and he'd just catch you on the blip, But yeah.
Oh, Mayweather was hooking away.
Yeah, man. Freaking you know, That was one of the things he'd catch you on the way in. Yeah, catch you on the way in. John Jones has that. That's the thing, dude. Is these guys, they have that. That was another thing I wanted to bring up, though, about the fights. One of the things I do want to bring up is one of the other fights is we have on the card is Justin Tafa versus Juan Adams, and they got Tafa at what was it plus 185, and Juan Adams at minus 230. Um, other than one fight that old boy has in the UFC, Justin Tafa, I would say that's a pretty decent money bet.
Hmm.
The only thing is that one fight, he got that button pushed, went out face first, cold, one punch, you know. But you see him against other in lesser opposition. Dude got fucking chewed up, man. You know, well, just came in reckless and was completely just went to sleep.
Hmm.
Um, so if anybody would want to gamble, man, that might be a fight to look at. You know, I'm not even paying attention at the Dan Eag or the Mersad Big Tech fight. Oh, I think this is a decent. There's potential in this fight right here. The Ilir Latifi versus Derek Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
They have Derek Lewis at a minus 280, and they have Latifi at plus 230. Um, I think old boy has the skill set to stay away from that punch for 3 rounds and get a decision victory. I
I
think that
you
I
say
think
that because I was kind of feeling that Lair Latifi had a shot in that one, and you know, it seems like most of the MMA community thinks that that's a really bad fight for him. That he's going up in weight, that he's usually been gassing out early, and everybody's expecting Lewis just to knock him out in Houston, his hometown. But for some reason, my gut's telling me that Latifi's a live dog.
I would say
I
I
think
would say also, and you know, he said, I was watching the thing, he was saying he was like he feels relieved he doesn't have to suck down and make the weight at what 205. You know, I mean, dude's a big boy. You know,
stocky.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely stocky. He's big, but
Sure.
he's got muscles, athletic muscles, though. You know, he's athletic. He's got decent stamina. But when you're sucking down, you know what I mean. And you get older, you like to eat. You know, that's a tough. Just to hear him say he feels relieved. You know, I think that goes a long way. Um, you know, obviously you're like fight to win, but at the same time, you know, if you're smart, you're trying to take this fight. The longer it goes on, the better your chances are. You know, just gotta not get hit. Don't get hit. Easy, simple.
Nothing
So
jumps out at me on this card in terms of any bets. Latifi was interesting to me just because I feel like Lewis sometimes can, not take it so serious. But now that in the finding out it's his hometown, I don't know if that's going to be the case. So I don't think I'm trying to go against the Black Beast at home with Latifi in that situation. I don't think that's going to be the move. So I noticed they don't even have Valentina on the sheet over here that I got today, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, that was like minus 1,000. I mean, with those that's far of a spread. Usually, they don't even put them up, man. You know. The other one that's on there that has a pretty big spread though is you have that Lauren Murphy versus Andrea Lee. You know, um, I think I was doing a little research and stuff.
Like
I
Murphy.
think that I no, well, Murphy, Murphy's tough. And I just think the sharpness of this Andrea Lee and the fact that she's a minus 340, I think that kind of says something. I don't think this is your Modafferi. Um, you have all that experience versus somebody. Um, yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it being the same. Yeah.
It's interesting though because realistically, you know, the level of fight conversations that we've done in UFC, both of us has been sporadic up until this point. It's going to be interesting to see how after we put some time in to this level of fight conversations with UFC, you know, I think eventually we're going to be able to be picking these easily because so much of it for me is like not having seen enough from some of these opponents, not knowing them enough. And the more that, we're going to be familiarized with some other talent watching these cards, breaking them down. I mean, I'm like an analyst now. I'm like writing notes. I got a book. I fucking have notes next to people's names. Now that book's going to come back out. The next time they fight, those notes are going to be there, and it's going to be like a whole different conversation where it's going to be like, oh, let me read these notes from the from the last time that we saw this fight go down. So I think this is fight conversations is going to take off, and it's almost like a way of life, just the way you see things. It's like a Mamba mentality of like analyzing things and being like proactive in your intelligence gathering and your judgment processing.
100%, dude. Well, I've been doing this stuff my whole life with boxing. The UFC it's a different beast, but you know, they're just providing us with a lot more content, lot more stuff to talk about, other than other than some of the boxing shenanigans. But we'll get into that later, dude. Now that we got this thing set up, fucking click bang, baby. We can do it, but I gotta wrap this up. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Do your thing. Let's let everybody know we're gonna be doing some live streaming from Chancla's Cantina Saturday night. Fight companion status, fight conversations will be live streaming fight companion style. So you know what that means.
Yeah, watch the fight along with us, or get the play-by-play action if you can't make it, and you can just run us on that little dealy. But we're gonna be at Chonkla's, and I just want to throw this out there for anybody that's Vegas local, over at Chonkla's, come fight night, boxing or whatever. Um, if you get there before the pay-per-view starts, no cover, so enjoy that. Best wings in town. I was mowing them last night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was getting down and boogieing.
Extra saucy.
Yeah. No, I asked for that extra slather. That's the thing. Get that extra slather, baby. Unless you like them plains. Plain Jane's is good, but yeah, I'm all about that sweet, that spicy chili or whatever. That's sweet.
That extra slather. We put in too much of an order at once. That came out a little dry. It was such a contrast that I don't think I would ever go without saying extra slather. It's not gonna happen again. But
don't be half-assing.
Extra excited for this Saturday night and these fights. We're gonna be calling it live from Chonkla's. And until then, man.
Boo bam, dude. Yeah, we'll be talking, guys. Like, follow, subscribe, share, fight conversations. What's the Instagram and the Twitter?
Fight Talk 24/7.
On both?
On both.
So at Fight Talk 24/7.
Yep.
That's us on Twitter and Instagram, Fight Conversations on Facebook. And if you want to join the group on Facebook, look up under the groups, Fight Conversations. What you got questions there for you to answer, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got a couple questions. Answer those and we'll get you in because we'll be doing some real analysis and stuff. We're gonna be doing these live streams directly to that when it comes to the betting.
Yeah, I think the questions are down actually just because we got fight week right now. So if you want to come join Fight Conversations group, come on in and join. I don't think there's even questions. Just come show an interest and get down with
Okay.
fight talk because I think it was something where because it's fight week and the John Jones fight was just wide open right now for a limited time.
Hell yeah, man. Perfect.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. And you can follow me, Trez Mala, on the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And also you can find if you like conspiracy stuff, my Think Stopper podcast and Think Stopper on the Instagram and yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm Lex Las Vegas on Facebook and also on Instagram, Lex Las Vegas, and on Twitter, I'm Vegas Lex. So definitely check us out, and we look forward to watching these fights with you on Saturday night.
Boo bam. All right, Lex. I'll talk to you later, my man.
Have a good one, man.
Peace.